Good evening, Council. Theresa Melhaut, St. Cloud. I am here as a citizen and a voter to voice my support for the food trucks. I do not own a food truck, nor do I own a business where a full food truck has been parked. Controlling public spaces and protecting public health are legitimate reasons for common sense regulations, but preserving the monopoly power of local eateries is a terrible reason to restrict the food trucks so stringently. When I have seen or read local restaurant owners complain about food trucks, it's because of a preconceived threat to their monopoly. St. Cloud doesn't do this to any other business. If a grocery store complained about the farmer's market, are you all going to regulate it to ensure that it fails? This country focuses on free enterprise and also free choice, where I want to spend my dollars. It is not up to this council or this administration to tell me where I can go eat. If I want a hot dog from a food truck, or if I want to go to a sit-down restaurant, I will do what I please. Preserving monopolies is not or shouldn't be a government emergency, which this is what it looks like when we have suddenly an emergency thing to restrict these food trucks. The food trucks, to be successful, need to be near busy areas where people can take a quick lunch break, or on a private property where the owners of the trucks and the business owners of the property have come to an arrangement. That should be their right. What business succeeds and whose does not should not be a part of our government. I think the requirements listed on the city code are invasive, punitive, and any sane person can see that they are designed to put the food trucks in St. Cloud out of business. They can't make any money with such severe restrictions, then they'll go, and you all know that. This is what it looks like to me as a citizen. I also want to say that grocery stores versus farmer markets, car washes versus the brick and mortar car washes. Our sports teams, our cheerleaders, our fishing clubs, they all hold car washes on private property. And are you gonna, if a car wash, brick and mortar complains, are you all gonna say that they can't have a car wash, the kids, anymore? Boy Scouts have a spaghetti dinner drive-through at the Methodist Church downtown. The Snowball spot downtown has a food truck. Kona Ice has food trucks. You're going to restrict all their business. What business deserves a monopoly? None. It is bad for consumers. It takes away free enterprise. And citizens should have the right to choose how and where they wish to eat.
I need you to hurry up, okay? I have a lot of folks who won't speak tonight.
All right. I want to just end by quoting our governor, DeSantis. When he signed this bill, he said, and I state it word for word, quote, "We feel this is going to put success more in the hands of folks and not have a guild mentality of keeping people out." It seems to me this is exactly what St. Cloud is trying to do. They got a guild mentality for brick and mortars, and they want to keep everybody else out. And I don't know why you're all doing this. I know some of you all, I can read on my social media, and I have friends that are restaurant owners, and I have read where some of you all already made up your mind and were being congratulated a few weeks ago for getting rid of these food trucks or making it so difficult for them. But I just wish you all would take our governor's words into account.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For the record, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Richard Estell, Florida. With your permission, Mayor, I have a copy of my proposal for the council.
If you'll hand that to the clerk, she'll take care of that.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I have read over the proposals from the building department, permitting department. There are a few things that I would like to address. I'll wait until you have copies in hand. I would like to point out that we do not limit distance for any other business. We don't tell, other than pawn shops, and I believe that is a state-inspired requirement, if I'm correct. We don't tell a brick and mortar that they can't put a restaurant next to another brick and mortar restaurant. I believe the proposal that I have here will meet all of the conditions and some of the concerns on both sides. So the location that I have indicated is Highway Business 192 corridor. Residential areas when adjacent to city properties such as parks, sports fields, beaches, lakes, lakeshore access is determined by the city. Any neighborhood where the collective residents or homeowners association board of directors, hereafter referred to as the HOA, has determined that MFV events acceptable and that the MFV event is held on HOA common grounds. And the reason I added this is already going on. These are already happening in St. Cloud. I'm not sure if any of you were aware of that. And they're going over very well. So if you have an HOA with common ground, let's let them do it. Let's not stop them from doing this. The permitting shall be a conditional use permit valid for 1 year from the date of issue, must be obtained by the property owner or the tenant with the property owner's approval. Permit shall be for 1 MFV per property. No single property may have more than 1 MFV regardless of the size of the property. Permits shall be limited in number by an annual lottery as determined by the city. Permit lottery entry shall be limited to 1 per person or entity per year. The permit shall be non-transferable to any other person or entity. To be eligible, the property must meet state requirements for MFV location. Now, I will qualify this. This is my understanding. I'm still trying to research this, but I believe they have to have restrooms and hand wash stations available. So those vacant properties that we're talking about would not even be eligible. When we start talking about some of the state restrictions, some of these 1 acre lots or these empty vacant properties that we're talking about become non-viable for anybody. They wouldn't be allowed to set up there. So the MFV location may not set up any tables or seating for consumption of food. Tables may be set in place for condiments or to-go wares. The MFV may not obstruct any egress to or from the property. And the MFV may not create any traffic hazard as a direct or indirect result of the presence of the MFV. Recurrent traffic safety violations may result in the revocation of the conditional use permit. The MFV shall be required to keep the surrounding area free of litter and debris as related to the MFV, i.e. napkins, containers, food refuse, etc. The permit holder shall provide or require the MFV to provide a suitably sized trash receptacle to ensure litter and debris are contained. MFV events held on an HOA common area shall not require a permit fee, provided the following conditions are met. The MFV must be approved in writing by the HOA governing body. All MFVs shall be required to provide copies of their respective state compliance, i.e. food handlers, manager certification, DBPR annual inspection, upon request from any city representative to ensure compliance. I look at this as a starting point. I am no expert. I have reviewed the documents. I feel that the emergency orders are excessively restrictive throughout all of the options available. I think we need to find a way to work with these small businesses to ensure that everybody has a chance to be successful in this community.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
My name is Marshall Rice. My wife Judy and I live in St. Cloud. And we saw on the news tonight about the meeting here and what was going on. So we just wanted to come down to express our concern for the people. We don't own a food truck. We aren't in that kind of business. But I know all of us are struggling in some degree with all the things that are going on in our country right now. Some struggling a lot more than others, and I would imagine some of the people that are doing the food truck business are having a hard time making it. And it seems like the more restrictions that we put on them, the more difficult it is. And that's one reason that all of us love the United States of America, because of the freedoms that we have and the ability to be able to get ahead, to work, to be entrepreneurs. And it's wonderful that they're doing that. And I hate to see some of the things. I think the news said, and correct me if I'm wrong, that it was like $900 a year for their license or extra fee or whatever, which seems, if you took that $900 from all of those people, and I'm not sure if what I saw up there was correct, it looked like there were 11 different food trucks that were licensed. I mean, we're talking about $10,000 for the county, which is not going to break the county, but it could break these people trying to get ahead, trying to build a business. Seems highly unreasonable as well that they can, and you all have done different kinds of businesses and things, I'm sure, and invested financially and your effort as well as your money, and to do it, and then in 1 year you're done and out of business. I mean, that seems a little ridiculous, I think. So we'd just like to put our vote in, I guess, for these people that are trying to do this, and to help them get ahead, to help them, they're not getting ahead probably. They're surviving and maybe stepping it up just a little bit. But we'd like to see them honored and their efforts honored and their faith in the system honored, to give them a little more of a chance than what it sounds like we're giving them right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marshall.
Mayor, is there a way that we can at least discuss the history of how we got to this place? Because I think some people are getting confused that we're just starting to slap a law that we've always had, that there was no food trucks allowed in St. Cloud as long as I've been here. I don't know, Mr. Manzares, can you kind of explain how we got to this position?
I only have two more people to speak. Can
Oh,
I have
okay,
them speak first?
it just seems like it keeps coming up, so, thank you, Mayor.
Please state your name and address for the record and limit your
Yes,
comments
my
to
name
3
is
minutes,
Salvatore Cruz, St. Cloud, Florida. Hello again. Kind of wish it was on a different topic, but it is. Food trucks. Should they be allowed to stay? That is the situation that is on the table once again. You know, as I stood up here at the last meeting, there were things I didn't know. One is that I was the only St. Cloud resident at the time and a non-food truck vendor that stood up to speak my mind and 100% in favor of letting these food trucks stay and work and earn a living. Two, that doing just that, the right thing, would have such a positive effect on so many of these people. Three is that since the last meeting, I myself had the opportunity to talk to some of these vendors, some to which I didn't know. And I will say to you only this: you truly have no idea how much of a positive effect an I vote from you all around would have on so many residents, friends, and most important, their families. So I think you have an idea what a no vote would do as well. I want to believe that this has nothing to do with hurting small business or taking business away. But after hearing things that were said, it's hard now, for example, a comment, and a derogatory one at that was made, that if you want 192 to start looking like OBT, selling food till 2 or 3 in the morning, then they're selling more than just food. I was disgusted by that comment, and I didn't hear it until I had to rewatch the video. That's the most degrading, most disgusting thing you can say to these people. They're not drug dealers. These are people earning an honest living. These truck vendors are closed by 7 or 8 o'clock most of the time, unless they are for a special event. So not only was the comment cruel and hurtful and even met with some laughs, it is factually incorrect. Another was how a hot dog sign or a flag will make St. Cloud look less desirable. Take a drive through Soldier City and look around vacant buildings up for lease that have been here since the early 2000s, and used car lots as far as the eye can see. At night, transients, junkies, home and vehicle thefts and break-ins run the night streets, and I know you are all very aware of what's been going on. That, ladies and gentlemen, is less desirable. not these food truck vendors, not these people earning a bottom dollar. I will end with this, with the words of Bo that was at the last meeting. St. Cloud is going from country to concrete, meaning St. Cloud is growing at a rapid rate. I mean, houses, we all know that houses and apartments are being built, what, by the week, by the month, by the year. Are we going to stay with the old way and not with the new things that life has to offer? They're just giving us something new. I mean, I get it. You guys don't want the, you know, it's not that you didn't want the food trucks, it was that you had restrictions. I understand that. But a little change ain't gonna hurt. A hot dog truck or a hot dog cart ain't gonna bother nobody. And if it's an eyesore for some, look the other way. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would like to clarify the statement that one of those statements that you made was not made by this council.
Hear what the one gentleman was trying to say.
We had a couple.
Marshall.
Mr. Estell?
Marshall Rice. I think
We had a couple of gentlemen that wanted to speak.
I'm fine with opening public comment back up. It's not like we're going to get resolution.
Well, if we
now.
open up to let speak, you can't just let one speak.
Okay, I'm fine with
Anybody
that.
else who wants to speak can speak now.
Go ahead.
I get paid by the hour.
Mr. Estell, is he still here?
I don't really. Do we?
Thank you. Richard S. To Mr. Askew's earlier question, how did we get here? We got here because about 10 years ago, a previous council made a knee-jerk reaction that they promised to circle back to and never did. I appreciate the council's interest and response in our questions and our queries, and I will keep this brief. I do think we need to find a reasonable, immediate solution that will allow them, while we search for a more permanent answer, that is going to keep us in state compliance. And compliance says we cannot, as a city, charge them fees. We can't charge them for permits. We can't charge them for fees. That is 50921, I believe.
102.
I'm sorry. Yeah, 102. It actually, after that script that's on the screen, it says that they removed those permitting and fee responsibilities or rights from the cities. So the cost recovery is not going to be an option at this point based on what we currently see in code. So how do we make that? And that's why I propose that we look at the property owners. Put that financial responsibility or that permit responsibility on the property owner that wants the food truck there. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you, your name and
Marshall Rice. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sorry for the... you have a lot of great ideas, and you're talking about specific things like having them all in one place or in a parking lot or, you know, needing a fence around it or grass or facilities or power and so forth. And I just asked one of the people next to me, I said, if they ever ask you what you wanted, and a couple of them chimed in and said, no, they've never asked us what we wanted. And I said, well, would you all want to be in one place? They said, you know, definitely not. And I guess I'm just saying, maybe you ought to have a little subcommittee sometime, talk to a bunch of them, if you haven't already, and maybe you have. I'm new to this. But it seems like they'd have some valuable input, which I realize you can't meet all of their needs. They may say, hey, we don't all want to be together, but you're constrained to put them all together. I don't know. Anyway, that was my thought. Thank you.
Marshall.